Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening? Well,
Boy,
Pretty good.
this uh this month has gone on all year long, I tell you what.
I can't believe it's the end of the month already, honestly. So, anyway, it is Halloween weekend. As tradition on the podcast, we usually review a scary movie or two. I think.
we review a seasonally appropriate movie.
Yeah, so last year we did The Crow. The year before we did Tucker and Dale vs. Evil and Monster Squad. And I believe the year before that we did The Shining. No, we did
The year before,
no, we did
Joyride.
Joyride, and then we did The Shining the year before. Cuz Rusty Nail.
Candy cane.
Yeah.
Which I guess is technically a thriller, but I don't know, it just kind of feels like it fits the vibe.
Yeah. So if you don't know by the thumbnail, we're doing Young Frankenstein, which is a personal favorite of mine, and I think also Shad.
It is an excellent excellent comedic movie. I'm gonna be honest with you, it pulls off something that a lot of modern television tries to pull off and fails at, which we'll get to.
And we had some drama with this because, I was thinking, oh, it's Young Frankenstein. It has to be on a streaming service because it's Young Frankenstein. And no, it was not. So
if you want to watch Young Frankenstein and you don't have access to it, it is available on the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
You can just go watch it there. It's just the Internet Archive saves what's on there, and there it do be.
It also is on, I guess, that new service called Friendly, but you have to subscribe, and you can also get the Blu-ray for like $9 if you search hard enough on Amazon. Like you'll get a bunch of options. They're like $20, but like the basic Blu-rays like $9 right now.
This its lack of availability easily on streaming is affected me because I told you guys like I thought I had seen this but maybe like when I was in college. So you're going like 2 decades ago. So
yeah.
And it honestly watching this, I didn't remember a lot of this, so it's like maybe I never actually saw it. Maybe it was one of those movies I thought I saw and I never did.
It's one of
But
those movies where you've encountered like some bit of it in parody or like you've seen a clip or like someone else has done it. Like so I think
Yeah.
it's an easy movie to be like, "Oh, I remember this from like something else."
Yeah, regardless if I had seen it, it's been years and years and years. So, and maybe just once. So, the fact that it wasn't available on streaming, I'm like, this isn't great for me because I haven't
Yeah.
seen this many times like you guys. So I can't just from memory be like, even if you didn't watch it to refresh it, you could pull from the memory and be like, oh, or this scene or that scene, this character. Like I had not no. So I was like biting my nails. Thankfully, Shad found it, was able to find a link so I could watch it.
Because
But
it was
yeah,
getting to the point of like, do I need to like send Matt the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
I was looking like on Amazon. It's like, if I order this now, like how quickly can it get here? And I think it's like, well, it could deliver you by like November 1st. I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have the Blu-ray in my closet, so at least like I had a backup. But it's like I would have to dig for it. And then I was like, well, I don't have a Blu player hooked up. And then I'm like, oh wait, my PS5 plays Blu-rays, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually sidetracked, but I needed a Blu-ray to watch some Blu-ray stuff recently. You can get that's the magic of like the modern era, I guess. I bought a Blu-ray like DVD drive that plugs into my laptop because now, of course, like laptops don't even come with disk drives. So I bought one off Amazon probably for like $20, $30, something like that. Like they're and that was like a couple years ago. So that's they're really affordable. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's easy to get one. The harder thing was again finding this movie where you could
Well,
actually see it.
I this is why, and I hate it. This is why I buy physical now because I wanted to watch 28 Days Later. It's on streaming now, but I wanted to, I think, last year. It was nowhere to be found. You could
Yeah.
find the crappy sequel on everything, but like 28 Days Later, you couldn't. You couldn't even buy it on Amazon, and it's so stupid.
I unfortunately I just don't have space for that. Like I guess I'll make exception if it's like a series that I want to, and especially also as dumb as it may be, but like old cartoon series like that. So I really like those. It's like, okay, maybe I'll get those on DVD or bootleg physical media, something. In wrestling, I've actually a lot, especially like like we talked about from guys like IVP or Jeff Lynch. Like, so
Yeah.
I'll actually
Yeah.
I'll buy stuff, physical media for there, but a lot of stuff is like to get like movies. So I won't do it. And I actually have some that I need to like downsize and just get. It's like I just don't. And I know that's. I mean, there are people who are advocates of physical media. I know Chris really have physical media copy stuff you like. I mean, it's true. Like you said, it's like you could have a movie that was not even like an obscure movie.
No.
Like
Yeah.
that was a very like widely disseminated, like popular known movie, and it's ridiculous.
And it's I would say it's like a milestone movie. Like it's one of those like landmark should be in like a collection of films if you want like to
Hmm.
experience like it's in there with like stuff like Jaws. Like Jaws should be easily available.
This is the physical media thing is even why when I have bought Switch games that my kids want to play, I go and buy the physical cart. And part of that is let's say we're going somewhere and they want to play it and there's not Wi-Fi access there. Okay, easy enough. What do you do? Pop it out, pop the new one in. There you go. But if something happens and it's no longer offered, my go-to example is because they have so much licensed content. The game Dead by Daylight has lots of licensed characters in it. And then the characters from Stranger Things went away for like 3 years because they didn't want to renew the deal. If you already had them, great, you could play them, but they weren't you couldn't get them anymore. And now Pinhead's going away for the same reason. And so are you really buying? No, you're really leasing it.
Yeah, you're leasing it.
Well, the
Yeah.
worst
Or
is
you're
like
buying a license for as long as we have this, you have access to it. And it's like that's not the same thing and you know it.
well, the worst is like I had it for tablet. Like when Baldur's Gate Enhanced was on Google, they got in some tiff with the publisher and they just yanked it. So if you bought it, like it was like fuck you, you can't buy this anymore. You can't play this anymore.
That's really egregious.
Yeah.
I know what Chad's saying. Like Brad and I downloaded this recently, but Acecraft, which is just a mobile game, but it's a gacha game. So they want you to spend a lot of money playing it. But they're doing collabs, and they did one recently with Tom and Jerry. But it was like a time thing. It's like, and I actually downloaded it like when that was ongoing. I didn't get them because I was just starting the game, whatever. But people, you could get Tom and Jerry as like two of your characters, like from the cartoon Tom and Jerry, because it's a collaboration. But the event ended, and so now it's like if you had them, you can play them. But if not, oh well. Right, and right now they're doing a collab with Looney Tunes characters, so it's Bugs and Daffy, and I got Bugs, so I'm like, oh great, like, but that's gonna go away, I think in like a month too, so basically by like probably Thanksgiving or so, like that's gonna be done. So yeah, like it's kind of BS. Like this is a mobile game, so I don't expect too much, but I know what you're saying. It's like if I would want to. I'm a little behind, except for Switch stuff. I'm a little behind on like video games, so I haven't had to deal too much with that. But yeah, that's enraging to be like, what if you pay like 50, 60? Well, it's really $60 or more for a game,
Yeah.
And it's bad enough that games nowadays, it's like they're completely broken out the gate, and you need like, well, why did I buy this day of? Might as well wait like 2-3 months from now when they've patched everything, or 6 months from now when like they have all the download stuff and you can get it with that crap included for
You
much
can
less
get
than it came out. Yeah,
you can get like Fallout New Vegas Anniversary Edition or Game of the Year Edition. It's like,
yeah,
hey, here's all of that additional content, and it's $5.
yeah.
Like
It's like
that's
great.
that's how I have Fallout New
Yeah.
Vegas.
But
I
it'd be frustrating if like you download all that, especially like you download it, not even just like I bought a physical copy, so I know you download that, and then all of a sudden it's something that's like, yeah, we're no longer supporting it, so oh well. It's like great.
Yeah.
I think one of the modern miracles is good old games somehow got Diablo with the Hellfire expansion onto their platform because people thought that would never happen. So if you don't know, Diablo 1 came out in like 95 or 96, but they outsourced the expansion Hellfire to Sierra, and Sierra died. So it was that, to get the rights you had to go through a whole rigmarole and figure out who it was. So people just thought it would never happen because you had to put in a lot of effort for that. And Blizzard wasn't going to do that, but somehow they pulled it off. So that
Yeah.
is a small modern miracle.
Good Old Games is really good about pulling that sort of stuff off. Even here's the thing. There's a reason that I'm going to use the words I use. Even like the pack leader on digital game platform stuff, Steam. If you get banned for cheating or something like that on Steam, then all that stuff that you had in your library is just gone, right? Now, the thing is, you've got to be a real piece of work to get your Steam account banned and lose everything. But
Yeah.
even in that case, that still, that sucks. And therefore, I like having. Look, here's how bad my physical media stuff is. My wife and I still have a tub of VHS tapes.
Oh yeah.
I have Heatwave 98 VHS copy.
Oh, look, Shad, I was cleaning out a shed to kind of make space to put some stuff in it. Like I have a shed in my backyard full of my stuff, and I'm trying to even downsize that stuff. It's full of like old comics and stuff I need to actually like look through. But
Yeah.
I organized it, and they had like there's a bunch of wrestling DVDs in there that I need to watch those whatever with them at some point. But in that I actually still have like maybe like a dozen, maybe a couple dozen VHS stuff, and it's stuff I think I got it like from like Jeff Lynch back in the day, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't have it on DVD, and I'm like, oh, I can't get rid of this. I can't get rid of it yet, and I even have like a couple of DVD VHS like to DVD burners or VHS, and
Yeah,
it's like
a lot
I
of my
can't get rid of
stuff.
them.
A lot of my stuff
Yeah, I'm
went
like,
over to
I can't get rid of
DVD.
it yet. And also realize it though, it's like, when am I going to actually set that crap up and like let me burn these VHS to a DVD? Like, maybe if I got time 10 years from now, the kids are like in high school.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It's one of those. Oh man, I got this because I really want to, and then you just never did, for a myriad of reasons that frankly were probably pretty good, but still you're like, why did I never make time for this? Yeah, I get it.
That's why IVP's been a godsend because I've been able to like. The thing is that you used to get like wrestling TV in sets. You're talking about if it was an hour-long show, you're talking about like 26 DVDs. It's like my entire run of like Smoky Mountain is a lot of DVDs, so it has to go in a binder. But because of Blu-ray, this is an entire year, so you get to downsize that way.
That's handy. That is absolutely handy.
Yeah, so that's nice. But yeah, that's the problem with physical media though, is like I even have CDs again because there's been like problems with like music, and it's ridiculous how messed up it is.
I own MP3s of a lot of music that I really liked and that sort of stuff. Um, and I honestly, I'm so behind the times. I own very, very few Blu-rays. A lot of the stuff I have is straight up in DVD format, and because I don't want to go through and rebuild the entire collection in a new format. Uh, I don't want to go looking for Gross Point Blank, Clue, um, Hot Fuzz, Princess Bride, and I do my top five, and then when I get to the fifth one, I'm always like, which one am I leaving out? Eh, but I don't want to have to go through and find all of this. I've already got it. I don't want it again. I've got DVD players that work. I've got that sort of stuff. I'm not going hunting for more stuff. Um,
Yeah, I get it.
I think Shazam is the fifth spot.
So then let's now that we've complained about how difficult this was to find, because it was stupid. Um, this should be on services. I don't know what the problem is. It's not even to buy on Amazon. That's what really like struck me was it wasn't even available for an Amazon purchase. But so this is Young Frankenstein. This came out in 74 or is it 72?
74.
74. So
So
interesting
it's a
thing
50-plus-year-old movie.
yeah, and I looked it up. This is Mel Brooks's third movie, and Blazing Saddles actually came out in February of this year, and this came out in December. And this made 87 million off of like a 2.8 million dollar budget, which was actually down because I think Blazing Saddles made like 120 million off of like a 2.2 million dollar budget. So, huge return on this movie.
Excellent. And so, Young Frankenstein, just as a little bit of you know background for it. First of all, this is built off of a parody of Bride of Frankenstein.
No,
And then
Son of Frankenstein.
there's a lot of Bride of Frankenstein in it too. Sorry guys, give me a sec.
It's interesting because Son of Frankenstein isn't as well seen, but if you watch it, you see a lot of the Young Frankenstein influences in it. Because like the inspector comes straight out of like Son of Frankenstein.
Um anyway,
Brad, I'm sorry, it's Frankenstein.
Yes.
Frankenstein, yes. Another bit of setting is this was all intentionally done in black and white. And there's this great
Yeah.
story that Mel Brooks tells. He goes and he sits down with all of these movie executives and he tells them, here's what it is. And he has a whole lunch with them to say, this is what the movie's going to be. This is what we're going to do. And they're like, oh, this sounds great. This is excellent. Fantastic. And as he's heading out the door, they've agreed to it. Like, this is a done deal. He goes, and we're going to do it in black and white. And in Mel Brooks' words, there was a chorus of thundering Jews shouting, Peru just got color! So, their consternation over him just dropping it on them, frankly amazing.
And I think they got the original sets to some stuff for this. Like some of these are like from the Universal movies, like
There is like a weird like the very opening, like there is like a weird little line that I caught it, but I don't know if people would, but it's like thanks to so and so for like access to the original Frankenstein like props or something. There's a line
Yeah.
of that nature in there.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was like real or not. But I will say like it turns the set like at the very beginning when you're seeing like Frankenstein's castle, whatever. I was shocked because if you have seen a lot of like old school horror or even like Hammer studio horror, which was around this time, 60s, 70s.
it would have been
Like
it would still be going, but I think like we'd be getting into like the last gasps, like last
Yeah.
5 years of it.
Yeah. But it's just like the setting, like the style, like the way it's set up and everything, it is so like on point with exactly how those old horror movies looked. Like exactly like Mel Brooks like copied it to like a T, and I was like as as like an aficionado of all those old horror films, I was like, wow, like you're doing a comedy, but he did it like so well in terms of like just the presentation right out the gate. Like it
Yeah.
looked really well done. And it's like this, it's a comedy, but it's like you could have easily made like straight up made that horror movie. Like you got it down. You
Well,
got the
you
look
could
down, you got
Yeah.
the presentation
you
down.
could have you could strip the comedy out of this, and I think the characters would still work in like a more serious movie. Like I think you'd have to rewrite a lot, but I think the characters are really fleshed out and like developed because like I think a great example of like this movie's brilliance is like Igor is not like incompetent. Like he does screw up with the brain, obviously, and
Hmm.
that's a big screw up. But there's other things where he's like, "What did you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did it." Like when he does the kite thing and he just appears, like, "Did you tie the kites down?" He's like, "Yeah, I did it."
Hmm.
Okay, so the brain thing actually is straight out of Son of Frankenstein, picking up the
Hmm.
dropping the original and then picking up the abnormal and leaving with it, which
Hmm.
is just that's just fantastic. The thing this movie that stands out to me the most is that this movie is one that there's so many shows today that try and have a joke on like every beat, every
Yeah.
little section. This
Yeah.
movie does not, because frankly, if you try and have a joke on every beat, nothing's funny.
No.
Hmm.
This movie has a lot of jokes packed in there. But the thing of it is, even with there being a lot of jokes packed in there, like it's not every beat, but it's a lot of beats, and they are done so well and they happen so quickly that I think the only thing you could really complain about is that they might be too close together sometimes. But they honestly, I think they compound on each other when you do that.
And I think the
So
problem with modern stuff that this doesn't have is like stuff is too self-referential and too self-aware now.
it's not even really that. It's just trying to cram jokes in. So if you've got a sitcom that's supposed to have a, you know, through whatever season it's supposed to have a new episode every week, you're going to run yourself dry trying to have a joke too often.
Well, they don't want you
You know,
to they don't want you to stop
just
and think about anything. Like that's a problem if you watch like the newer Marvel stuff is like something will happen and then they immediately ruin it with humor because like no 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 like don't worry we're not taking this seriously like don't think about things.
Look, the first maybe the first couple Avengers movies were like well received, but it's like that to me is like that's classic Zach Whedon, where it's like gotta get your little quips in. You're like it's like ugh. Like I actually cringe at points like the original Avengers, because it's like oh here comes the Jack Whedon the punchline, the Josh Whedon, sorry, is Josh Whedon punchline. I'm like, you could see it coming a mile away, and
You
it's
know what's
like,
weird
this
though
doesn't
is
need this.
if you watch like Buffy it's well paced and like he doesn't like it's within character and stuff and like
Hmm.
there's some good one-liners like my favorite line from Buffy ever is like at the end of season 1 when Xander asks her out and she says no and like are you okay he's like yeah he's like I'm just gonna go home and listen to country music the music of pain
Hmm.
but stuff like that like it's not like overbearing in that stuff and I don't
mhm.
it's like he flanderized himself and I don't
Hmm.
think Avengers are that bad. Justice League is terrible though.
Well, yeah, because that was um, Zack Snyder, and then Joss Whedon brought in to quote unquote save it. So he's turning everything up to 11. It's like, yeah,
And
there's a million. Like, it's like, hey, we uh, we made this out of with thing. We made this sculpture of things you like out of shit, and then we took like chocolate that's not actually good and piled too much of it on top of it. So now it's all mixed together.
I can't
Like,
think of two worse people to try and like get something out of like and not even collaboratively but like to take something like make something out of like the same project because you have someone that doesn't take it, quips too much, but then you have the other end with
He
with
tries
Snyder that's like
too hard.
no fun allowed edgelord stuff.
Yeah. Oh
It
my God.
look, it it really didn't need to be grim dark.
That's
Like,
all
and I
Zack
actually
Snyder does,
I
though.
like I kind of like Henry Cavill. I mean, and I thought he was fine as Superman, but it doesn't need to be grim dark. Like, I haven't seen the new Superman, but it was very well received, and I think it probably made money. But it's like
Nah,
people want part of
it's questionable if it made money. It's right on the line of if it made money, it did not make much. But
it.
I think that's
It
a
was well.
superhero fatigue thing.
It was well. Yeah, it was well. Well, yeah, it was well received though because it's like it's Superman how he's supposed to be, where it's like he's an actual like bright shiny superhero. If anything, like the criticism I saw was that he was a little too like I'd say jokey, but like not serious. And it's like, well, Superman's supposed to be like a Boy Scout. He's supposed to be like kind of goofy because he's kind of while he's a symbol of like hope and saving people and all that. It's like he's also like a big Boy Scout. He was kind of like aw shucks, grew up in farmland Kansas, so he's a little like
Yeah.
naive and
Well, no, that's an act.
he's
He's
That's
he's a little corny, and
that.
yeah.
that's okay because he's genuine in it.
Well, the thing is though, you have like I think what people don't understand is like when he's Clark Kent, like the farm boy thing is half an act. Like he is a farm boy, but he plays it way up to get people to take him lightly.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, because
Because if you read the John Byrne thing, which I know it's post crisis and it's controversial, but like the Clark Kent in that is a very accomplished person. Like he's written a
yeah,
novel, and that's why Lois doesn't actually like that Clark at first, is because he's a legitimate threat to her career wise. But he does play up the farm boy thing. He's like, well, gee Williger, I'm just a farm boy. I don't know how I got that interview with Superman, even though he is Superman. And um
the thing that I love about that character, by the way, is that and yes, I know he picked being a reporter because at least at the time he got the advance notice on when things were happening. So that was the best way for him to know when he needed to be somewhere. But it's a job where his powers don't actually help him be any better at it. His powers don't make him a good writer because that's not how that works. And Clark being a good reporter, I mean, yeah, of course he's going to have the sources, but then the flip side to it is, yeah, he's got the sources, but if he can't write worth a damn, then he wouldn't be able to, he wouldn't be an acclaimed reporter, but he is because, hey, guess what? He's actually, good at the job.
yeah.
So, yeah, having Snyder and Whedon trying to fix each other was not gonna work.
No.
That's just a disaster.
So we start this film off with a coffin being uncovered and like a skeleton holding kind of like a briefcase. And we get
Yeah.
our first bit of humor as the guy struggles to get it away from it. So then we go to college with Gene Wilder as Frederick or Frederick
Frederick.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. And
Frankenstein.
he's teaching a class and he's this one student's kind of bugging him. But this is where like the movie really caught me, and it's
One student's such a little
I know.
turd.
But what I love though is this guy comes up for this experiment, and this guy's in the movie for like 5 minutes, and he just does a fantastic job because like he's kind of showing involuntary versus voluntary movement, and he goes to knee him in the balls, and the guy like freaks out and like covers himself up, and it just the look of betrayal and bewilderment on his face is
Why are you doing this to me?
yeah, and this guy just does such a great job for like a non-speaking role. And then he's like,
Yeah.
and I like jumped down off the table, and he like awkwardly
Nice
like
hopping.
yeah,
Nice hopping. Yeah. And Gene Wilder's kind of like funny too in this because when he goes to like knee the guy like in the balls, he'd be like he's like continuing the lecture. It's like, now I'm gonna show you the difference between voluntary and involuntary. Then he's like you son of a whore, and then he's like cursing the guy out as he's about to like knee him, and it's like that was completely gratuitous. You could have like just kneed him, but you didn't have to throw in like some nasty insult too.
And I love that when he pulls like so he like blocks his nerves and then does it for real to show like the example, and then he takes the thing off and the guy like freaks out because he just got kneed in the balls and like they're pulling him away. He's like, yeah, give him an extra $5.
Yeah.
So the student starts grilling him about his grandfather's work, and it has one of my favorite lines that I actually say sometimes. He's like, he's like a scalpel. He has a scalpel because he's like, you have about as much chance of like reanimating matter as this scalpel. And then he gets mad. He's like, my grandfather's work is doo-doo, and he stabs himself. And he stabs himself in the leg with the scalpel, which
it's Wilder being turned all the way, like the whole scene is building to this big emotional crescendo, and then he just bellows, my grandfather's work was doo-doo, and stabs himself. It builds so excellently.
So then he gets approached and he inherits his grandfather's castle, so he's gonna go check this out, and we meet his fiance that for lack of a better term is just a cock tease.
She's a prude.
Yeah.
But she's played by Madeline Kahn.
Who was in was the whore in Blazing Saddles.
She's also Mrs. White in Clue.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite role of hers in Clue. Which we should watch Clue for the show.
Clue is one of my all-time top 5 movies.
I say that I got sad because like I saw an interview recently. I saw a clip of an interview. Not the whole thing, but of Tim interviewing Tim Curry as he is now.
Yeah,
and he seems like he actually has like all of his wits about him, but it's just tough to see because he is like one side's drooping. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
and his speech is obviously like
they
really
did
bad stroke.
They did a
long time ago. Like this point, like he had the stroke like 10 years ago.
They did an audiobook of Dracula, and he was Van Helsing. And I don't remember when they released it, but I think it was post-stroke, and you could tell like he was just struggling.
Yeah.
That was a Sunday morning interview, by the way, which is a great interview.
Okay, yeah, I saw the clips. I saw some clips. I didn't see the whole thing.
And Shad did agree. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but Shad did laugh at the Scary Movie 2 scene with him. What is it? Titties?
Sir, you need to see this. Is it titties?
Yeah.
And then they go, no, sir. What is it? Is it Snatch?
Yeah.
He runs into this.
I think
Tim Curry delivering a line in the way only Tim Curry could.
And I think it was David Cross was the assistant in that too.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they took it out of the movie because like that movie sucked. That was like the funniest part of the movie.
Since we mentioned Tim Curry, we are obviously we would be remiss if we don't say the best Tim Curry line. Space.
The one place capitalism is not corrupted. Space.
Is that Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer. Yeah.
Yes, of all the roles that you could literally. There's an entire coastline. You could fit an entire coastline of the scenery he has chewed, but everything, like he seemed like he was having the most fun just delivering that line. Because he's probably like, I can't believe these idiots are paying me.
He just seemed like he liked to
level
work.
I'm gonna do.
He just.
Oh yeah, like I think Tim. I think he's honest about his career, and I think that he probably doesn't regret any of it. Like and we've talked about this before. We should do a Tim Curry retrospective because it's like name a bad Tim like Curry performance. It's like there's none. I don't think you can because the worst Tim Curry performance I feel will at least be like a little interesting.
I would say the Devil and Legend is probably his worst performance, and even that's interesting. But I think I blame
good though.
I blame that as I blame that more on the writing. But I will say though, like when you talk about his work ethic, though, he can be in the most podunk piece of crap cartoon, and he still puts in like a better performance than it deserves.
Yeah. My favorite Tim Curry line, I think it's in Clue, but it's the phrase, just the way he delivers it. I can explain everything. You don't have to. I don't? No. It's a free country. Don't you know that? I didn't know it was that free.
He's like he's modern day Vincent Price, where Vincent Price put in a good performance no matter what.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
doing
there's actually
doing
a fun
doing a good job in the FMV game
yeah.
era.
And there's a
God,
funny story about Vincent Price. So I know Matt's seen it, but Count Duckula has like a narrator that's pretending to be Vincent Price. And the creators did an interview like, yeah, he got really mad at us because he told us like, why did you do that? I would have done it for you.
that makes me happy just to know that he would be willing to have fun with that sort of stuff. But anyway, back to Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, so he's trying to kiss his fiance goodbye, and like, so first it's because of her makeup, and then he tries to hug her, and it's because of her dress, and then like he does something when she turns around, and like the feathers from her like dress get in his mouth, so he's like,
Yeah. The line that took me most off guard in that was he goes to hug her and she goes, "Taffeta, darling." He goes, "Taffeta to you as well." No, the dress is taffeta. It'll wrinkle. And because this is one of those scenes where there's not a joke every beat, but there's just a joke just far enough apart every time. And the great thing is that they fit the characters like the character is established here. Madeline Klein's character is established so well here that everything makes sense. And he gets on the train to say goodbye and blows her a kiss, and she dodges him blowing her a kiss. It's like, yeah, totally believe that this character would be like that.
yeah. It's also funny she gets choked by the fumes of the train as it's leaving, which is so needless. So then he arrives in Transylvania, and he's met
Well,
by
hold on. There's a great like it's kind of subtle, but there's a great gag with this is that he gets on the train and then it's like he's on the train, you see the inside of the train and it's like, oh, next stop New York, and then you see like two like New York people like arguing, complaining about something, and then like he falls asleep or whatever. Like next thing you know, it's like now stopping at Transylvania, and it's like what? Obviously, he didn't take the train from America through New York all the way to Eastern European country of Transylvania, but it's like a great gag that it's like it's just seamless travel, and it's like that's if you blink and you miss it, it's like but that's like a
yeah.
funny nonsensical gag, and it's like it's very like a Mel Brooks type of thing. It's like this makes
Yeah.
no sense, but it's clever and it's kind of witty.
And I
It
looked this
also
up.
helps the two, because before he falls asleep, he's listening to this couple in New York discussing the fact that their son's, jacking off. And then whenever he wakes up, the conversation in German is the exact same conversation again.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that,
And
but that is such a great little throw it in gag.
That's a great little tidbit.
And I did look
Yeah.
this up. So the movie takes place in 1910.
Okay,
Mm.
that
Because I was looking this up because, so we'll get to it. I'll explain when we get to that because it's a little later. But so he meets Igor, who because he introduced themselves as Frankenstein, and he's like, "Oh, you just call me Igor."
Yeah.
He's like, "I thought it was Igor."
Well, he also goes Froderick or whatever.
Froderick.
It's Froderick. And Igor goes, you put me on, right? And it's like, no.
And this is the first part where I think I laughed. And I mean, I knew it was coming, but he's like, I'm really quite a brilliant surgeon. I could help you with that hump. And he's like, what hump?
What hump? Oh, and I'll fast forward. There's a great gag later on where, because when in the scene, Igor's looking at him, and at you as the viewer, you see the hump on the right side, like because his profile, you're seeing Igor's right side, and later on, when they're like doing like some of the experimentation in the labs, like Igor's like they're talking, and the hump is like on Igor's left side because you see the left profile, and and Gene Wilder is Frankenstein. He's like, what was it? Wasn't that on the other side? And he's like, what? And he like Igor completely sells it. It's like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's like that's a great example of like a really like silly throwaway gag, but it actually works. And again, they don't make a big deal of it. It's just like a moment where it's like, hey, what What's
Yeah.
happening
So
here?
I was doing some reading about it. First of all, Marty Feldman as Igor is just
Mm,
outstanding.
mhm.
And he's also
But
in Silent Movie from Mel Brooks. So he worked with
Mm.
he
him.
apparently the whole hump moving around thing was Marty Feldman's idea because they kind of gave that to him and he discovered he could move it around under there. So he just did. He just moved it around. And then Igor played it off like it was never, like he didn't realize it was ever there, which is just such excellent comedic instinct. I love
I
it.
wasn't that familiar with him. I looked him up like in watching this film, and he was a comedian. And I thought like, oh, how's he doing the weird eye thing? It's like no, his eyes are just like that. I guess
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like in Stravenus or whatever, where it's like the eyes kind of went
And
separate ways.
he
I
died
know.
in 82 or 84. So he
He
died.
actually he died relatively young. He was like in
Yeah.
his late 40s. He didn't even reach 50, but he I think he died.
He
I
really,
think he died of like a heart attack.
yeah, and it's really sad because I think if he had gotten into that like 80s and 90s like comedy boon, I think he would have been a massive name.
Yeah, he apparently did some stuff and was friends with like the Monty Python guys.
That's excellent.
But yeah, like he would have really probably if he had lived, he would have probably had like a good resurgence of things in
Yeah.
like the 80s, 90s.
The you said, that's just the way his eyes are. When Frederick, damn your eyes, and he just goes, too late. He just turns, looks in the camera with one eye and goes, too late. And seeing him, I looked him up too because I was like, okay, Marty Feldman. I know I've heard that name. Let me look into it. I also got to looking into another because it reminded me of another character who was on. I think he was on the Jackie Gleason show. Um, and now I'm gonna vapor lock on the guy's name. God, it was Frank Nelson. So Frank Nelson was the guy who also showed up in the Bugs Bunny cartoons. Wherever you turn to ask someone a question, it's the same guy that whips around and goes, "Yes." It's like, okay, I'm getting a huge kick out of
Yes. Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
yeah, Frank. Now the fact that these folks, and the last one I can think of that really did this, and it's not like, The Rock just plays The Rock in every movie, but somebody who had a gimmick or a character they made a whole career out of. The last one I can think of is Jim Varney with Ernest P. Worrell. But I just get such a kick out of folks that got such longevity out of
Danny
this
Trejo kind of
particular
just plays
gimmick.
himself in every movie.
Well, yeah, but that's a different thing because that's not really
That's-
having a character. That's just me playing me. This is me watching me playing me in this movie kind of thing.
Wait,
Instead of
which
Danny
who?
Trejo.
Oh, well, yeah.
as opposed to folks having, this running gimmick that they get so much mileage out of and they're just so good with it. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate Feldman just destroys it in this movie. Everybody's so good.
So that
There.
I learned
Well, hold
some.
on. There. I'm sorry. Let me just add this one part. There's a great, obviously, gag, which apparently is was the inspiration for a famous song. But when they're about to go to the castle, Igor is like, walk this way, and so he walks and he's got a hump, so he's like kind of limping, and you see Gene Wilder's Frankenstein behind him. He's just like, okay, and he starts like imitating the walk, and it's like that's
No, he makes no. You're
really just
missing. No, Igor makes him do it. He hands him the cane
Yeah.
and he shows him
He
like
hands him
how.
the cane. Walk this
Right.
way.
Yeah, and he like, and the best part is he never does that again the whole movie.
yo, it's like what was this?
It's just a great gag.
Yeah,
And it
And
did.
that's a strength of this is that they don't take those gags that work and they call back,
them in
but
the
they don't
ground,
run them into
yeah.
the ground. Yeah.
And this inspired "Walk This Way" by Aerosmith. And I did
Yeah.
find an interview where they talked about this, where they were on a break or something. They went to see this movie and they thought it was hilarious, and that's what like inspired them to do the song.
wonderful.
Yeah, which the
So
weird
the
thing that
pickup-
gets inspired. So we go to he takes him to a cart, and Terry Gar's in the hay, and she asks him if she wants to roll in the hay with her, which she literally just rolls in the hay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's a joke that seems like, is this going to be like dirty? And then Terry Gar just owns it, and she is spectacular in this film. Like
Yeah.
Terry Gar finds a way to outshine Madeline Kahn as a comedic actress in this movie, and that's first of all just really impressive.
Cloris
I mean,
Leachman,
she's just
too.
great.
Cloris
Yeah,
Leachman.
Cloris Leachman's great too, but Terry Gar just picks up and runs with it, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So they're going to the castle. It has one of my other favorite gags where she's like, "I'm worried about werewolves," and he's like, "Werewolves," and Igor's like, "Thar wolf." He's like, "Why are you
Werewolf.
doing that?" He's like, "Oh, I thought we were just talking that way."
They're riding there, worry about werewolves, sort of stuff, and when they get to the castle, they do one of what's probably the best known jokes from the movie, and it's such a basic joke, except their delivery is so good. Igor hops off the cart, he goes over to the door. Frederick is helping Terry Gar, whose character's name I'm blanking on.
Oh, Inga.
Inga,
Inga?
that's right. Helping
Inga,
her
that's right.
off the cart. And he goes over and grabs this giant ring on the door and starts slamming it. And it's this huge thing. And you're like, why? Because he picks it up and then it hits the door and he backs up for a second. And then he goes up and he picks it up and he hits the door and he backs up. He does it like 2 or 3 times. And you're like, why is this shot so steady on it? And when it goes back to Frederick and Inga and he's helping her down, he's helping her down. She's right here and he's like, wow, look at those knockers.
No, he's
And
like,
she
"Wow,
goes,
what knockers?" Because she
Yeah.
has like boobs to his face,
yeah,
but he's not
right
looking.
there. And she, oh, thank you, doctor. And it's
And she's
just
so happy about it too.
the delivery is so perfect.
So then we
Supposedly Mel Brooks and the crew making this movie would have to like shoot the scenes with handkerchiefs stuffed in their mouth so their laughing wouldn't catch on the mics and stuff while they were filming. I believe it.
There's a later scene we'll get to, but there's one where like the take they went with, Gene Wilder's still laughing, like half laughing through it. But so then we get introduced to Frau Blucher, which makes the horses whinny every time. That's the running gag with her.
I'm sorry, who?
Frau Blucher.
Who?
Oh,
Hold on. I don't know if that kid. I was trying to
definitely
look over.
Yeah, we
sorry,
should have
like,
stuck
I'm
that
trying
on the soundboard in here. Is what we
So
should
she's
have done.
kinda-
Yeah.
I would say she's kind of the
I
caretaker.
love it. It was like Frau Bruckner. Woo! They were just like,
Every time.
whose horse is coming from?
Yeah. So they get all set up. They see the house and everything. And this has one of my favorite scenes. So she like shows him his room, and like Frau Blucher's getting ready to leave. He's like, "Can I offer the doctor a brandy?" And he's like, "No." Like, "Some more milk?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Ovaltine?" He's like, "No, thank you."
I wouldn't have thought the word Ovaltine would be so funny, but I mean, Cloris Leachman just draws it out perfectly.
Yeah. So then we go a little later, and so they get woken up by music, and then Inga and Frederick find this hidden passage to the lab, and we get our gag where he gets stuck in the door because like they pull the candle out, and then they're
It's
trying
the
to
rotating bookshelf.
yeah. And he tries. He's like, "Okay, what I'm gonna do?" Because he gets on the other side, but he tries to get. He tells her to pull the candle off, but then he ends
Put
up on the other
the
side.
candle back.
Yeah, and then he gets stuck in the door, and it's a whole thing. So they find the old lab. He finds his old grandfather's book.
What's the cover of the book say? It's just sitting right there on the thing. What's the cover say?
I don't remember.
I did it.
How I did it, yeah.
So OJ makes his first appearance in this.
Yeah.
So then, so he starts reading it, and then we go to breakfast, and then he's talking about how the
Okay.
person has to be really big, and then Inga's like, "Wow, he'd have to have an enormous swastika,"
Yeah.
while they're eating,
Schronstuber
and
or something like that.
and they're eating sausages to really hit the point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And Gene Wilder
The-
just makes a face, and it's like, goes without saying.
The thing that I love right before that joke is he's reading the book. And as he's reading the book and he says, I discovered that my error had been that the power source was incorrect. And so by swapping the negative to positive and the positive to negative, I was able to reach, the expected outcome. He wrote it in the book. He had the batteries in backwards. He literally wrote the batteries were flipped around in the damn thing.
So then we get to the point where so he figures out that this could work. So then they start planning. So then they decide to do a little grave robbing. So he and Igor go out, which this scene's funny because there's like a night watchman and he has like the arm out, and so he has to pretend like it's his
you
arm.
skipped over. Well, it's fine. We don't need to recount the whole thing.
Yeah. You can stop me.
Could be worse. Could be raining.
Yeah. And so next they need a brain. So he tells them, this is where this is ruined into numerous things. So he tells Igor that he needs the brain of Hans Delbruck. So we're going to give you a little history lessons here. So Hans Delbruck was a German historian. So it's ruined me because if you listen to like history podcast and they mention Hans Delbruck, I laugh every time because now he was still alive in 1910. He didn't die until 1929. That's how I actually went to see what year it was in to see if they were actually trying to get like Hans Delbruck's brain. But it's a joke about the German historian, so a little bit of side knowledge there.
So he goes that one, he drops that brain, and he's got to make a choice. Now the thing that gets me is that there's a whole shelf of brains there, and the one that is next to the one he picks up says something or other saint in life.
Yes.
Right? Like the placard, like every brain on the shelf is literally, this was a fantastic person, except the one he picks up that says, do not take this brain abnormal.
And I think
abnormal, yeah.
And I think abnormal is underlined.
Yeah, and like underlined, bold, italicized, abnormal, do not use. Which then it's like, what were you
and it's
all
even off to
using
the
these
side.
things for?
It's even off to the side. It's not with the other brains.
It's like, what were you guys using these brains for? They're labeled this way.
Yeah.
But the great thing is they don't pay that off straight away. They take a scene or two before they pay that joke off.
Yeah, so we get like the classic Frankenstein. They start doing the whole, okay, they have them on the table, they're gonna do the lightning, and then we get the gag. So Igor is up with kites to get the lightning to strike. And he's like, hey, it's getting really windy up there, you should come down. And then you see him and he turns her eyes like, and he says it again really loud, and Igor's like, why are you yelling?
Why are you shouting? Yeah.
And they're like shocked.
Did you climb down? Yeah.
It's like, did you tie the kites up? And he's like, yeah, I did. So they do the whole thing, and like the monster doesn't come alive quite away. And Gene Wilder's like, well, I guess it's just what happens. And he freaks out. He's like, live, damn you! And he starts like just punching it. Yeah.
And Gene Wilder has an just epic meltdown.
Yeah, epic meltdown.
And Inga's like, stop it, you'll kill him. It's like, what? But oh, Gene Wilder, I actually got to laugh, Shad, because at points in this, especially when he's having a meltdown, I was just thinking about the modern times and modern comedy, and I'm like, Gene Wilder, that guy yells.
Yeah. And they used to.
And he yells. I forgot. Like, he forgot how good of how excited he gets. Because I mean, if you watch there's obviously parts in like Willy Wonka, which is probably my favorite Gene Wilder performance, and I've seen that a million times.
Hmm.
But like he gets crazy in that too. Like he's an underrated actor.
Yeah.
Great comedic actor, obviously, but I mean,
His
like there's some moments here. Yeah.
his Blazing Saddles performance is really underrated too because I like that. I turned around, it was a little kid, and I just laughed and walked away. Little bastard shot me in the ass.
Because
And
this is my shooting hand.
yeah, well, no, it's like he's always like, "This is my hand." He's like, "Well, that's not so bad." He's like, "Yeah, but this is my shooting hand," and it's like,
Yeah.
and it also that movie also has one of my favorite lines from it. Is like, these people are salt of the earth, morons.
So we get the whole thing, like waiting to Gene Wilder has the freak out where he yells, and then so we go through this whole thing. It's great, and they're having dinner because it's like, well, he finally calms down. He's like, oh well, that's how it goes.
No, he has a freak out at dinner too.
Did he ever freak out?
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
that's
there's, like,
right.
you're
Because they
barely
said you
touching-
haven't touched your dinner.
Yeah,
There, are you happy?
and then he chills out. He's chilled out with dessert because then he tells he asks Igor if he and Igor are talking, and then like the monster makes a noise like, "Well, I see you like it." He's like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "You made a big yummy noise."
He made a yummy sound. It's like, no, I didn't. Like, I asked you what the dessert was. That's all. Yeah, that was actually a great clip because
Yeah,
yeah.
it shows the subtlety of the movie that it can have like normal moments.
Yeah, it just gives it. There are times where it gives you an opportunity to breathe in anticipation of the joke,
Yeah,
as opposed to just hitting you with. And don't get me wrong, hitting you with the joke, great, but it mixes it up so it's not always the same. Here's a joke. Here's a joke. Here's a joke. Let's like you get to anticipate it and be excited for it.
yeah. And it needs to be said, the monster is played by Peter Boyle, who is like absolutely amazing in this movie for like someone that barely talks.
His facial expressions are outstanding. I love it. It's just great.
Yeah, so they figure out that the monster's alive. They go check the lab, and he pretty much attacks him as soon as they like let him loose. So they I think he's choking him. He's telling him to use a sedative, and like they're doing
Yeah.
like the guessing thing.
Yeah, they start doing like charades almost. Okay, 3 words, 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not quite happy with he's not happy with Igor. I don't remember what he guessed. I don't remember what the word was.
Sedative?
Yeah.
Sedative?
So they pretty much tie the monster down, and he's like, "What happened? Like this shouldn't be." And he's like, "Did you use hot?" Like he pretty much asks about the brain. He's like, "Well, yeah, I had to use a different brain." He's like, "What brain did you use?" Like, "Well, Abby normal." He's like, "You used a rotten brain?"
We put a rotten brain in a 7.5-foot, 54-inch gorilla.
Yeah, that line. The 54-inch thing cracks me up.
Yeah. It's and Igor is not even remotely ashamed of it. He's like, "What? You needed a brain. I got you a brain. What's the problem here?"
Igor's just a simple man.
He did his job.
Yeah. So
That's what I got.
and then we get a side thing too. So the villagers are kind of worried because there's a Frankenstein back. And they're nervous about it. So we get introduced to the inspector. Who cracks me up because he has like a fake arm.
It's like a prosthetic right arm.
Yeah. He's kind of like there is an inspector in Son of Frankenstein, but he's also kind of doing a bit of the doctor from Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, I don't know how well you guys like this character. To me, this character did not land at all. Like, if you honestly took him out of the movie, like, I don't feel like the movie would have been hurt. Like,
I thought
I didn't care for the character at all.
I
was bored by every scene he was in.
I thought him cheating at darts was so needless and like hilarious.
Oh yeah. Well, the dart scene was funny actually, only because like they did the sight
and
gags.
I did laugh.
Meanwhile, just like darts kept like throwing, like going through the windows and all, like all
I
crazy.
and I did laugh. Also, Mel Brooks did the voice of the cat and the tire breaking, but I did laugh too at the end when he shakes the monster's hand and his arm pops off. He's like, "Oh shit!"
It's
He wasn't in it much,
It-
so like he was like kind of a whatever to me.
if I was going to say anybody was the weak link in this movie, any character was a weak link, probably the inspector, because I don't. It feels like everybody else is this fully developed character, while the inspector is a pile of gimmicks. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not funny, because the fact that he has a monocle on top of his eye patch and he will stop and clean his monocle before putting it back on his eye patch absolutely killed me. That just utterly destroyed me. It's like, okay, I appreciate what this is, but the arm gimmick felt like it did run, because it wasn't just like he has a prosthetic arm. It is every scene he's in, he's very animatedly manipulating the thing, and it's like I could have done without that.
Yeah. So we get so Frau Blucher lets the monster out, and we get this whole
Nay.
big we get this whole big reveal where they're like, so you were the one doing, she has like a violin, and so she does like,
Yeah.
she has like a chord every, like, so you were the one that like was playing the music, and she's like, yes, and that was your cigar, and you left the book out. So she had lured him to like find the book. And then I love the part there where she's like, so you and my grandfather's like, she's like, yes, he was my boyfriend. Which just,
He's just so big.
yeah.
And that's Cloris Leachman just being awesome again.
Yeah. And so something like one of the machines kind of like sparks and the monster freaks out and takes off. And so the first one he kind of comes across is this little girl, and they're throwing like flowers in the water. Yeah. And so this is a direct parody of the first one, because they're kind of doing that, and the monster kills the girl because he like wants to see a bigger splash, so he throws the girl in the water and drowns her.
Well,
so then
he like accidentally kills her.
Yeah.
In the original Frankenstein movie, because like they're throwing her, and like they're running out of pedals. So he like throws her in because it's like, I need something to throw in, and he's supposed to be like kind of a something that wants her in.
Yeah.
And she drowns like accidentally because
Yeah.
she either the current's too bad or she just can't swim. But he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
And so it is a play on that. It's like, oh, because they're not in front of a river, but they're in front of a well, and it's like, oh, like, and they play it up, because it's like she's like, what do we throw in now? And like he just like looks at the camera. You think, oh, is he gonna throw her down the well? But
he was
they
thinking
cut
about
to
it.
like the parents arguing. They cut to the parents arguing. It's like, where's the kid? Like, because they're boarding out the window because there's a monster loose, and they're both like, what? I thought you were like responsible for making sure she was inside. And they're like, no, I thought it was you. And so they're all freaking out because they're boarding up the house, but the daughter is missing. Then they go back to the little girl, and Peter Boyle is the monster, the creature, and they're gonna play. She wants them to play like seesaw, and she's like, but I like this too. Like, she's bullying him. She's like this tiny little girl. She's like, sit on the other side. It's
Yeah.
like, he's like, okay. So he does, and she like catapults
Right into her bed. And the parents like, oh good,
into
she's
her
safe.
house, like through the upstairs window, like into her bed. Yeah.
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 So
But
then,
I like that because again, it's like I like that they did a subversion of like some of the tropes there, and they kind of did a callback to the original source material and did it referentially, like, but funny. And again, the subversion of things where it's like they actually made it funny by subverting that. Like, we didn't do what you thought we were going to do.
It just Peter Boyle just turns and Steve Harvey's right down the barrel of the camera when she says the well thing. I'm sorry, I was doing something with chat. I had a moment where.
And so we go to the next scene. So he wanders off, and we get Gene Hackman as a blind priest is asking for a friend, and the monster comes in. Now, what I love about Gene Hackman in this movie is Gene Hackman is playing this completely straight. And so I
Mhm.
guess how he ended up in this movie was he played golf with Gene Wilder, and he mentioned this movie, and Gene Hackman's like, "Oh, can you get me a part in that? Like, I've never been in a comedy." And so he talked to Mel Brooks to get him into the movie. So that's how Gene Hackman ended up in this. So the monster comes in, and so this is a takeoff of Bride of Frankenstein. So this priest and like all the stuff he does, like so in the Bride of Frankenstein, he humanizes Frankenstein a bit because he shows him like, oh, there's good food, there's good wine, like, oh, here, have a cigar, and like the monster kind of learns like, oh, this stuff's kind of nice, I like it. And so this is not like that. So he offers him some soup, and he's blind. So the monster holds his cup out, and he just pours the soup in his lap.
That was the first time I watched this movie. I don't know. I'm watching it. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know what my headspace was. But the scene where the monster's trying to move the bowl under the ladle and misses, and Peter Boyle's face when the hot soup hits his lap is what cracked me open entirely. And I just cackled. And I laughed my way through the rest of the movie. For some reason, I was not laughing the first half of it. But just Peter Boyle's like facial expressions and physical comedy here is just
No,
excellent.
he's really good in this. And so the next he gets him some wine, they do a toast, he breaks the monster's glass, and Peter Boyle is just beyond like perturbed at this point. And so then they do the whole thing like they did this in Bride of Frankenstein where he's afraid of the fire. He's like, no, fire is good. So he gives him the cigar, but he sets his finger on fire by mistake. So he takes off, and then Gene Hack's like, well, where are you going? I was going to make an espresso. And I guess he ad-libbed that part and like cracked everyone up, so they kept it in there.
Yeah, he has like puts a little flair on it too. It's like I'm gonna make espresso.
Yeah.
I want to point out something. Gene Hackman did this, and I don't think by this point, it's 1974. He had already won an Oscar in
Yeah.
1971 for French Connection. So it's like if you were to get like Daniel Day-Lewis in your in your silly little comedy, and he just like, oh, I wanted to play like a part, and he plays it completely straight. Like it's fantastic. I love it.
Well, I mean, that's how it's a funny side thing, but that's how Glenn Close. If you don't know, because I learned this recently. So if you've seen Hook, the pirate that gets thrown in the boo box is Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how she ended up in the movie is she was just on set visiting someone, and they're like, hey, you're Glenn Close, do you want to be in the movie? And that's how she ended up as the pirate.
Right. That pirate's name it wasn't Wimpy, but it was something kind of like that.
I think that's how Matt Damon ended up in Eurotrip. Is he knew like the director, and he was just in town one day and like, hey, you wanna do this scene? And he's like, sure.
And it was a big surprise to everybody on the crew, especially the lead, because Scotty didn't know.
Yeah.
So
He really. Yeah.
That's a good song.
that's one of those gags that is honestly, it goes on. It's like, okay, funny. Oh my gosh, it's still going, and it loops back around to being funny again.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
So they
Then ground keep the bitch around. It's fun.
so they managed to apprehend the monster, which is funny in itself because it's just like a pile of people by the end of it. Because
Mhm.
he's so gigantic. So then they decide they have to work with this monster. So Gene Wilder's like, well, let's just lock me in the room with him and I'll figure this out. So they lock the door. He's like, I was just joking. Like, what are you doing?
So, fun fact: if you ever look up Carlos Alazraqui, who is comedian, he was Garcia on Reno 911. He voiced Bane in Batman the Animated Series. He's done a bunch of
he
stuff.
was Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life too, which is probably one. Oh, and he was Laszlo from Camp Laszlo.
He has a dead on. He can do this scene in the Gene Wilder voice so spot on. It's wonderful. Help me! Let me out! Don't you understand? It's a joke! You know, I can't do it, but he can nail
Well,
the inflection, the tone, everything so well.
and then so he decides he has to work with it. And I love Peter Boyle in this scene. He's like, "Hey, handsome," and he's like me, like what?
Yeah, they just piling compliments and building him up and stuff, and it works.
Yeah,
And Peter Boyle is just, I mean, doing a fantastic job. It's just the scene in the cell there is great.
and so this goes. So he's going to unveil his creation to the scientific community, which this is probably I would say the most well known scene from the movie. So they do
Yeah.
so he kind of has the monster do some stuff, and then they do Putting on the Ritz, which I really wanted that to like be the countdown song, but I thought YouTube would strike me rightfully.
Mhm.
But so they do this thing, yeah, and it's really funny. But then like a light explodes, and he kind of freaks out, and the scientists for whatever reason start pelting him with rotten fruit. He's like, "Please don't humiliate him!" Like,
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, where did they get rotten vegetables all of a sudden? They just like pull it up from the sea. And
yeah,
it's like they're just like clapping this, put it on the wrist, and then it stops. Like the monster freaks out, and they just boo, and it's like it's so nonsensical. It's like this is wasn't even here for like he's literally trying to do like a science demonstration. And
Yeah.
obviously, the point is like, look, I created this monster, and he can walk. Like he neurologically, he's fine. But it's like they're doing a song and dance number, and all of a sudden just pelting them with rotten vegetables.
so
It's so nonsensical.
yeah,
Well, I was
But that's part of
watching
the
that
charm.
scene, and my realization was they were coming in, like, the thought that hit me is they were coming in planning to do that from the beginning. And then being surprised at it going well was the shock for it.
yeah.
And then whenever it breaks down, I'm like, oh, we were waiting for this. Hang on, I got something here for
Yeah.
it.
So
I
the
got a
monster,
rotten cabbage here. Like,
so the monster freaks out. The town apprehends him. So he's in jail, and I did not know this. So I should have written his name down. So this guard is taunting him with like a match before he freaks out and takes off. But the guard is what's his name? Shad, can you look it up? So the guy that is the guard is the Nazi that goes back to the concentration camp in Twilight Zone and gets haunted by the ghost of the concentration camp. And he's also in the episode, the Rip Van Winkle caper. Is that what it's called, Shad?
Yeah.
That is who the guard is, which I never realized until this time. I think because I just watched like Twilight Zone and seen him on
That was Oscar Bareghi, who has done a lot of arrogant bastard roles, and yes, was the Nazi in Death's Head Revisited.
yeah.
So it is appropriate that is the only character that gets killed in this movie.
Yeah. So the monster takes off, and then they figure out they have to do a procedure. So they get a hold of the monster, and they're doing the procedure, and the town storms the castle and like messes it up mid form, and and then the monster starts talking, and he like gives a whole speech.
Hang on, because
before
this
that,
is
before
Yeah, go
that, we're
Oh, I
we're
forgot
missing out
that.
a part.
Yeah, I forgot. So
So like Frankenstein like starts hooking up with Inga. Like they
Yeah.
established like they've the sexual tension is too much. They started having an affair.
and
And then all of a sudden, but Frankenstein's fiance Madeline Kahn
they did it on the
appears,
table.
and she visits him. Yeah, and she still is like a prude, but as she like leaves, and eventually like what happens is the monster like when he's still before he's still like a escaped rampaging monster. He finds her because she's like singing, and he's attracted to her
Oh
voice.
wait, we
and
have
then
to
basically-
talk about when she shows up, because that is one of my favorite part of the movie. So
Oh yeah,
she shows up and she's really suspicious of Inga, obviously. And she's like, and it is a callback to earlier. She's like, so what is it that you do? Callback to earlier. And so then it's getting awkward, and Gene Wilder's like, hey Igor, why don't you get the bags? This is my favorite part. And like, you can even tell in the one they kept that Gene Wilder's still half laughing because he's like, Igor's like, he's doing a Groucho Marx like, okay, you take the bag, I'll take the one with the turban, and she has like the stole on it. He goes, "Arr, arr," he starts biting it. He
You
pulls
take
it
the
off.
blonde, I'll get the one with the toy. Then.
Yeah.
And she smacks him with the thing, and it's hilarious. But there's some good outtakes of it where he can't get it off, or he like pulls the fur off and it's stuck in his. And there's one where he has it, and Gene Wilder's like, give it to me. Which is funny because Madeline Kahn doesn't break in any of those scenes. Like, she must have been made of stone.
She was a consummate professional on those things.
Like, she would laugh after everyone else broke, but like, you could not break
She
her.
would not be the first one to break.
Yeah.
I do love watching outtakes where people break because there's just an uninhibited joy that goes with people thinking something is so funny they cannot keep their composure in any way whatsoever. My go-to example, I know I'm the one that's digressing, but my go-to example is the outtake from the dinner party episode of The Office, where the whole gag is that Michael Scott has like this little 12-inch flat screen TV that's mounted on an arm on the wall. And the whole thing is the joke is, look, if you push it back into the wall, it opens the whole room. And as they do this, different people keep absolutely falling apart because the sight gag is so staggering that they just cannot hold it together anymore. And just seeing them start dying laughing brings my heart so much joy. That's one of those things when I'm really down, I go looking for people who break.
There's
in those.
Some of the Next Generation ones are hilarious, especially if you find the ones where like the crew's supposed to open the doors for them. I think there's one with Worf, and he just walks right into the door because they forgot to open it. Might have been Riker. But because Michael Dorn cracks a lot.
Yeah. Sorry, I had my digression there.
But yeah, my favorite gag is him being like, "You take the blonde, I'll take the one with the turban," and he bites her stole, and she smacks him, and he's like, "Stop that!" And so he gets the bags, and he's like, "Well, if you need any help with the girls, I'm here if you need me."
That and his phrase where he leans over to Madeline Kahn and goes, "Just act natural."
Yeah.
He's trying to hit on her and she's not there for it.
And so then we go to the scene where the monster like abducts her. But the best part is she's singing hymn music to go with her like character, and it's like a perfect fit of what she would.
She was singing the battle hymn of the Republic.
Yeah.
So it's this scene is weird because it starts with the implication, and then she turns on a dime in this scene. And I'm like, because I remember the first time watching it, I'm like, how are you gonna okay, I see what you did here.
I just like men only want one thing, like 7 or 8 quick ones, and they're off to a night with the boys.
Yeah.
And where did they get the cigarettes? That's what I want to know. Where'd they get the cigarettes?
This is also kind of a callback to earlier too, because I think it's implied that the monster has
a giant hog.
Yeah. Shad, since you mentioned it, it's like, well, Madeline Kahn, Shad, she would never say no. She won't say no. She would never say no because of the implication. Which, if you get, you have to get that reference. If you don't, that's okay. If you do, you do.
So then they get him. They do the procedure. The monster's normal now. He talks the people down. They get all.
He talks eloquently,
yes.
Like Peter Boyle talking his real voice, but he's all nice and like calm.
Yeah. So then everything's resolved. So we go to Gene Wilder and Inga on their honeymoon, and it kind of goes back and forth. And so Peter Boyle's reading the newspaper. Well, the monster's reading the paper in bed, and she comes out and she's dressed up completely like Bride of Frankenstein.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The hair in like the beehive.
Yeah, and he does the look
Yeah.
at the audience thing again when she's feeling a little naughty. So we go back to Vic. We go back to Inga and Gene Wilder, and she's like, "So what did you get out of the procedure with the monster?" And he does this monster growl, and then she does it's the same joke that they did with Elizabeth earlier, where he obviously got the giant part of the giant dong from the monster.
They zoom right in. Gene Wilder is staring straight at the camera, and they zoom right in and then go past him, and then they do the joke payoff, and I'm like, okay, all right, I appreciate how you handled that, because how do you segue into that joke and have it be funny? You know, there's a lot of ways that you could try and do that and it would fall flat, but by doing it this way, it's Gene Wilder looking at you going, you know what the punchline is. You know full well what this is.
Yeah.
And you get to anticipate the joke in a great way.
And you know what's funny is this is an hour and 45-minute movie, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. And I watched it again. And I'm like, that did not feel like an hour and 45-minute movie. That felt like maybe at most like a 90-minute movie, because like it moves, like it doesn't. It uses
The
its
pacing
runtime.
the pacing is exceptional with how they lay everything out. Like it really is, and that's unfortunately like modern movies today. This is a 50 again. This is a 50 like now 51-year-old movie. There are so many movies today that it's like the pacing is terrible. There's some clown on like social media that he's made like this big like crusade of like, oh, movies need to be like an hour and a half again, and it's like he's kind of annoying. I forget who it is, but it's also like, yeah, I don't know about like a 90-minute movie, but movies don't need to be like 2.5 hours, especially because a lot of movies nowadays they can't pace it that well.
And
so
comedies,
it's like
comedies being like an hour and 50. You know what's a great example of how badly
yeah.
paced movies are now is the new Little Mermaid is terrible. And it's like 2
I haven't seen it,
hours
but I
and
heard it was like 2.5 hours, and it's like I got small kids.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it 2.5 hours.
Your target audience does not want to watch your whole movie.
They're not going to make it 2 hours.
Well, the thing is, like, you go to the like, that's why I don't go to comic movies anymore. It's like, if it's a 3-hour movie, you're gonna be at the cinema all day.
Oh, that since like we mentioned Superman came out over the summer.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was like in town, and so my wife and I were like, oh, do we take advantage of like grandma being in town, like we can like have a date night and like go see Superman. And eventually I was like, I want to see Superman, but no, because by the time we go to the movie, and I don't even think that was like a 3-hour movie, but I mean, if by the time we go to the movie, you go see the movie, like if it's just 2 hours, like with all the previews, everything like that, you're looking at like 2.5 hours or more, because you gotta get there, you gotta get like popcorn, your drinks, whatever.
Well, I did go to more movies because at the old house I lived like within walking distance of a cinema, so like getting there wasn't an issue. So you'd be like,
That's
oh,
fine,
work's
but I
over,
mean-
I can be at the theater by 3:40.
Yeah, but I mean, like we decided not to because it's like that's the entire evening, and now that's because grandma was in town. Like if it's like date night, it's like I'm not gonna go see the movie, especially if it's like a 3-hour movie, 2.5, 3 hours, because it's like I'm paying a babysitter. It's
Yeah.
like that's my entire evening.
Well, you don't want to like. I don't want to go after work when I get off at like 3:30. Be at like the movie starts at 4, and I'm getting out of the movie at like 7 or 7:30. Like that killed your whole day.
Yeah.
Because those trailers can get really long in the tooth, especially for like new stuff. And they have
Yeah.
commercials now too, which like makes it even longer.
Yeah. This one clocks at an hour 45, and it's a very easy hour 45. And another nice thing is, if it's one of those where if you need to pause it and come back to it or anything like that, it's not a big deal. It's very easy to just drop
And
back into.
and there's no filler. Like every scene like serves a purpose. It builds to something. It calls back to something. Like um, it trusts you. I think that's a big difference in this movie. Like, is it trusts the audience a lot. Like that's one thing I hate about like modern stuff is like I don't think you could make this movie now because like they wouldn't trust the audience enough.
Not nowhere near the same way. Um, but it's a great Mel Brooks movie, and those are just really really special because they are a cut above so many other, like if you want peers of Mel Brooks movies, you're going for like upper crust
I
stuff.
don't
It's
I don't think when this came out there was many movies like this though. Like I think those started coming along later like cuz even stuff like Airplane, which I would say is like something along the veins that would be contemporaneously, that didn't come around to like 80.
yeah. I mean, just a
That's a great movie. We should do that just cuz Robert Stack's hilarious in that movie.
okay. Here's the hell of it is I have not watched Airplane beginning to end. I'm pretty sure I've seen the whole thing, but not like continuously. So I know that's weird, but
I would actually say there's an argument this is Mel Brooks' best movie.
I I would we were talking about that briefly before the show, and I probably agree with that. I think Blazing Saddles is his funniest. I personally love Spaceballs
Yeah,
because
I love Spaceballs too.
I watched it 1,000 times as a kid, and so it has like it's a very personal like movie that I love.
And I
But
love I
in terms of the everything like congealing together, and the pacing, the acting, like how tight everything was, this is probably his best film.
I have
I would, yeah,
I have a fondness for Robin Hood Men in Tights too.
that's a fun movie. Like I mean, there's not a lot of, I would argue there's not a lot of bad Mel Brooks movies. Like they're all kind of at least enjoyable.
Yeah, even like Dracula Dead and Loving It, which I don't think is like an amazing movie, still has like its
Yeah.
strong points. I don't
like he knows what funny is. That's the thing. Mel Brooks is just downright, he is great at comedy, but the even if like the one of the biggest limiting factors for Men in Tights is how many references and jokes in that movie are very much of the time. Sending a Fox, the Macaulay Culkin reference, the Reebok pumps reference, all that sort of stuff. It's
I
like,
I do use the I use this in my personal life a lot, and the people that get it always make me happy. I do the a roll is a roll and a toll is a toll. If you don't pay no toll, then we don't eat no rolls. I made that up
yeah,
myself.
that's, but yeah, there's jokes and stuff in it that are just timeless. Then again, Mel Brooks was the kind of guy who, um, let me see, I'm looking for it. He would mess with the Nazis by playing goofy music at them during World War II. The Wikipedia thing is he was tasked with a landmine location, defusing done by a specialist. When he heard Germans singing over loudspeakers, he responded by singing American Jewish singer Al Jolson's hit "Toot Toot Tootsie Goodbye" into a bullhorn. And yeah, this is the guy who just like from very early on got it. This is the guy that came up with Get Smart. He had a sketch show with oh Carl Reiner, which had the 2,000-year-old man and like all that sort of stuff. The guy's just funny, and he was married to Mrs. Robinson, so props to him also. And here I am. I was scrolling through his Wikipedia because I was like, okay, I need like his discography, and there's so much just stories they've got in here. I'm like, you're killing me.
This is a weird aside, but one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies is actually History of the World Part
Yeah, I was
1.
about
And
to bring that up.
the reason why is because I don't know why. Maybe it was for you guys too, but when I was a kid, like in the 80s, because it came out in 81, like local,
It
because
was on Comedy
people,
Central a lot.
kids these days don't know, but it's like back in the day before cable, you'd have like your local like network TV, but you also would have like a couple channels that eventually they became like UPN, which I guess now would be like the CW, WB. Well,
Yeah.
like anyway, you had like a couple local channels, and they would oftentimes like on Saturdays they would just play movies,
Yeah, because they needed to
and
fill time.
sometimes it'd be obscure. Sometimes it'd be obscure movies. Like I saw definitely on Saturday mornings, I saw like, or Saturday during the day, I saw a ton of like old Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Or I'd see like some Chinese like
Stuff
wushu
that
kung
ended up
fu movies.
stuff that ended up on like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah,
would
but
get
sometimes
played.
you'd also get like that between that and maybe Comedy Central, you get like actual known movies, and
Yeah.
for some reason they would always be playing some channel on TV was always playing History of the World Part 1. So I saw that like multiple times, and I actually really like
All right.
enjoyed the film.
God has
So
given me these 15 drop 10 commandments.
I was going to say, I think that the thing that is competition for the best Mel Brooks movie up against Young Frankenstein is probably the producers. Because the premise by itself is funny, and then the twists and turns it take are just excellent. So it's hard to, for me, it's hard to put one above the other just because they're so very different.
I think why I would put this as the best is because I think Blazing Saddles is the funniest, but it falls apart at the end. Like the end, it just sucks. And with this movie, I think you could totally remove the comedy from this movie, and the characters would stand on their own. Like they're fleshed out. I think they have good chemistry together. Like I think you could do like a more serious movie, and it would hold up. And it and I think why I like this too is it's obviously a Mel Brooks movie, like with the humor, but it's not like some of the later ones where like it's a little over the top and hitting you a little too hard with the humor.
Mel Brooks movies are probably part of why I enjoy absurdist humor as much as I do. Because the first Mel Brooks movie I watched, like you guys said, was Men in Tights. And there's just a certain amount of just downright silly that works for it. This one has, this one stays tight the whole way through. There's not a spot where it drops off or gets slow.
It would have been so. My first Mel Brooks movie would have been this or Spaceballs, I think.
for me, probably, well, like, I may have seen History of the World Part 1 first, but Spaceballs I saw many times because I had it on VHS, and I just played it over and over and over again. Not like in a row. It wasn't like a daily thing, but I mean, I saw that multiple times when I was a kid.
That has some great lines in it too.
Hmm. I think I mentioned on the show, like the line that still gets me is like when they're the asshole line.
Yeah.
But it's like, what's your name? What's his name? Like, asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? It's that is his name.
But actually,
Richard Asshole.
I don't think I didn't realize the joke until I rewatched Alien a couple years ago. And it's so funny they brought John Hurt in for like a cameo so the alien could pop out of his chest and he's like, "Ugh, not again."
Not again.
Not again.
Yeah. Which is
that scene actually ruins Alien if you go back and watch it because like if you don't know that when the alien comes out in Spaceballs, it puts a little top hat on and does the
hello, my honey, hello.
Yeah. And if you watch like, and so I watched Alien in the it pops out. I'm like, wow, you are being a showboaty little bitch. No wonder they like did that
Yeah.
gag. But I like I said, I love this movie. It's if you haven't seen it, you owe yourself to watch this.
Yeah, yeah, you do. It is excellent. It is so well paced. I think that it keeps everything tight, contained, moving. The jokes are spaced properly. The movie's storyline, it kind of fakes you out a couple of times because there's spots where you'd be like, oh, okay, this would be the ending sequence. Nope, not that's not the. But that's okay. It's happening in a way that you're along for the ride, and it's a fun ride the whole way.
I would also say the visuals hold up really well. I mean, it doesn't do anything like crazy, but like it holds up pretty well visually. But I did. There was one gag I didn't think I remembered or noticed before, but I liked when they were trying to knock the gates down when they were storming the castle. They were using the inspector and his fake hand as the battering
Yeah,
ram,
yeah.
which was funny. But yeah, it's a good movie. Like I don't think it's something I think I would show my like a younger person because sometimes it's hard to show someone younger like an older movie because the pace is slower and stuff.
It's something that it feels like some folks sometimes need to grow into,
Yeah.
or
Because they were different in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like movies were just different.
I don't want to be old man yells at clouds here. It's hard to put a.
I'm not making a statement of quality. I think they are better, but like when my niece is wanted to watch Jaws, I had to be like, and she enjoyed the whole movie. I'll give her that. But I was like, okay, now I'm just warning you, this is not like modern movies. This is a very slow
Yeah, it's a slow
movie.
build.
But part of the but I mean I didn't explain it 'cause she was younger at the time, but also the slowness of Jaws is there to build tension.
Yeah, yeah. That's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. I wonder. I need to read the book one of these days. That's on my like to do list that I just never get around to. So, any other thoughts? Like Matt, you were the newer one to this movie. What did you think of it overall? Like being a
Overall, again, I do kind of lean towards this being his best film. And it was funny. I have a heart. I can say like I have a weird sense of humor because I don't like not have a sense of humor, but I like probably a lot of absurdist
I
humor or
like
a lot of
really
things that
dark. I like a lot of dark humor.
I like dark humor, but I also like I've kind of trended towards for like absurdist or anti-humor. So like one of the for example, like one of the things that I joke with the chat about like the Netflix series I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson. It's like a lot of times very nonsensical and weird. A show that I'm kind of enjoying lately, which is popular, so I'm not like on a my own little island here, but Smiling Friends. It's very like weird and again like absurdist. It's like I'm kind of enjoying that.
I
So like I have a kind of weird sense of humor, but
I haven't watched
so
much
I
Smiling Friends, but I do that show is such a great example of like why Doug Walker is a cool guy because it's involved with Oni plays that makes fun of him a lot, and he did a
mm,
guest spot for them, and he thought like it's a difference between him and Kara. So like they ask him about like the Oni plays thing, he's like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like oh yeah, I do that. Like I think it's funny, and then like Kara is just like, they're making fun of me. But he did a
yeah.
project with them, and like he's oh what's his name on that? He's a demon slayer, and he's like a YouTuber. And he's like, what's funny about the gag that he's on is they skip his ad portion, which is like 95% of the video.
Mm. Uh, anyway, like I watched this film and I enjoyed the comedy, but it like I cannot say for a single moment where it's like, oh, I laughed out loud. Like I did, but that's different than being like I was just sat there like this isn't funny. It's like I recognize it was funny and I appreciate it and I enjoyed it. So I liked the gags. I thought it was really well done. More than that, I just thought it was a really well-made film. So I didn't need to laugh out loud. Again, it wasn't because I didn't find it funny. I guess it's just not like again I could have like a at the moment I have like a weird sense of humor, so it's like I'm not gonna laugh out loud at this, but it's like that's different than being like I just sat there stone faced or the jokes didn't move me. Like they were really well done, and just in general, I thought this was a well made, like well acted, well written performance. I appreciated it from like going beyond like oh is it funny? It's like it's like the technical like the technical work of it like you said, Chad, it's like they did jokes, and there's a lot of jokes. They didn't beat the jokes to death. They subverted stuff oftentimes, which I appreciated it. They called back to jokes, but not in like an annoying ad nauseum way. It would just be like occasional callbacks where it's like, and again, like some of the stuff I thought was really, really funny and clever, and some of it was just completely throwaway, which is a very Mel Brooks thing. But like the hump thing, it's like, wait a minute, wasn't that hump on the other side of the other, like earlier? Like things like that, or Marty Feldman, like his performance of things like ad-libbing or whatever. Like I thought it was exceptionally well made, and the pacing again was fantastic. The times when it actually was trying to evoke the style of like the whole gothic horror movies, like classic horror movies, Universal like monster stuff like
It being
that.
in
It did
black and
that
white,
well.
I think, is a big
Yeah,
boon to it.
it's actually an exceptionally well done film. Like if a like again, it's a 51-year-old film. If a film like this came out today, it could hang in today's market. Like it absolutely could, and I would almost be like, this is deserving of getting nominated for like an Academy Award because it's not just like here's a jokey comedy. You know, it's actually a really well done film that's well acted and just a fantastic piece of cinema. That's why I feel like pound for pound, it's since I've seen a lot of his other stuff, it's probably Mel Brooks' best film. Like, is it his funniest film? No. Is it a film that I like hold more closely because like I love Spaceballs so much? No, but it's probably his best made film. And I think I saw that it's been it's one of those films that got marked for preservation as like like Library of Congress, whatever, like culturally significant. And it's like, yeah, like this is if you want to take the art form of filmmaking, like this is worthy of being like this is preserved. This is like one of our best like comedies, just a well-made film. Like it's actually exceptional.
It got 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Screenplay, Adapted Screenplay, and Best Sound. The American Film Institute has it on some lists. What Hump is actually nominated for 100 Best Movie Quotes.
Mm,
It's the 13th Best Comedy, I think. And then Putting on the Ritz is on a thing, and it's up there for film score too.
mm.
Because there's stuff with the film like I didn't realize that was it's from this, but like the dun 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 is kind of like a meme song that originated with this.
That thing that they had is the opening of like every Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Yeah,
movie or episode.
yeah. They actually stopped doing that after a couple of seasons, I think.
Well, I can understand how it would be difficult to keep coming up with new gags for that particular thing, but still.
Aqua Teen got weird. I tried to watch through it a couple years ago, and I think I got to like the 6th. Around the movie, I always fall off because it gets a
I was going
little.
to say got weird, but okay, fair enough.
It got
It's
more weird. Let's
oh
put it
yeah,
that
that's look. There are some jokes in that show that will always be funny to me. Arise, chicken, arise. That's always funny. Thousands of years ago before the quickening. Excellent. Carl's, it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
It
Always
don't matter.
works.
None of this matters. Yeah.
None of this matters.
There used to be, I don't remember what it was, but there used to be like, it was almost like a proto cameo where you could send people like a Carl thing and you would just tell him things to say and he would just go on. And like, it was a pre recorded thing, but he would just slip in like the extra pieces that you told him. Yeah, like that's a great show. Harvey Birdman, I think, fell off at the end too, but I enjoy that as well. And C Lab is funny, but it had problems with the
It'll C Lab will wear out its welcome.
well the
I think
main
it's
the main guy died too, which kind of tanked it.
there's it's hard because so many of those that area of shows, like they were going and it was funny and you were happy to see more of them, but then you get to a point where it's like, this is dropping off pretty hard.
Yeah, or you turn into Rick and Morty where it's just not funny anymore.
I never watched Rick and Morty in the first place.
It was good for like 3 seasons, then 4th season was kind of like, this is kind of going downhill, and it never got better.
What
I
was
haven't seen it. I haven't seen. I haven't seen like the new seasons in like 2-3 years. I enjoyed it, but honestly, when it kind of once like the Justin Roiland stuff like came out, I kind of like killed my enthusiasm for the show, and I haven't really followed up on it since then. I do think like some of the earlier stuff was really really good and funny, so I'd have to catch up on the show to see if like how I would weigh on it falling off. Um, I mean, I guess it's a testament too, where it's like, oh, I haven't caught up. That I'm kind of like I've become ambivalent on it. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think most people
I
have.
know the thing that killed that particular, because I hadn't watched it and that was fine. It was just one of those things I hadn't done. And then all the crap that happened around the re-release of the Szechuan sauce stuff, I was just like, you know what? Nope.
McDonald's bears responsibility for that too, though.
But the behavior of the fans around it, I was like, I don't want to be part of this. Nope,
Because
I'm out.
like there were McDonald's locations that got like 20 of them.
I'm just saying,
it was ridiculous.
That was I'm not.
Some of it though, some of them did misbehave badly, but people also posted stuff and like missed the humor of it. Like there were ones that misbehaved, but there were other ones who were like, look at how bad they're acting, and like some guy like makes a speech and runs away doing like the Naruto like pose, and it's just like, guys, like they're just fucking around.
Some of that, yes, but
no, some of them misbehaved. But like some people did like post stuff where it was obvious they were just being goofy. But McDonald's like botched that horribly, too.
okay, and I will add this also. The being around conventions as much as I am, hearing the people do the meme of you have to be a certain intellect to get Rick and Morty, but doing it unironically, like playing it straight, I was just kind of like,
I have to admit the copy pasta that like breaks me every time, especially when someone like puts like a different like does like a different meme with it. I always crack.
oh, that you have to be a certain intellect to.
Yeah. It's such a great copy pasta, but yeah, people that seriously say they're dumb because you don't.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing that made damn sure that I was never going to get into Doctor Who. It was just there are times when fan bases have behaved in such a way that I'm just like, I don't want to be associated with you in any way whatsoever.
I think you would like Doctor Who.
It's just not gonna happen. Just not doing it.
The problem is I got into it around 2010, and you really have to just pick a spot and go.
Part of I watched a couple of episodes of it.
Did you watch New or Old, just out of curiosity?
It was the one that stood out in my head was a Christopher Eccleston episode.
Yeah, he was really good as a doctor, actually.
The Have You Seen My Mummy episode, and it's just like, okay, that's cool, except for the fact that they had to browbeat the doctor into going and fixing this problem that he caused by being there, and I'm like, you got to you've got to like harangue the hero into fixing his goof up here. I'm not.
He was in a weird spot because he fucked some stuff up before that. If you go back and watch the old stuff, like the Tom Baker stuff is a lot of fun.
I typically like Christopher Eccleston, so that's part of what makes it difficult is
He only
to
did
see an actor I like, and then he only did like one season, I
yeah, he
think.
did that. He did the revival season. Like if you go back to the old stuff, like I said, Tom Baker's pretty good. I like Jim Pertwee, in his yellow car. But the problem is like you do have to kind of pick a doctor, and I would say usually the companions are what makes or break the doctor versus the doctor himself. And
Yeah, I just
they've totally,
wasn't there for it.
and it's totally been terrible like since the end of Matt Smith onward. It's been just a train wreck that
I
they
think it's
continue
just yeah,
to compound with terrible casting decisions and writing.
yeah. I'm just not here for it. And then having the interaction I had at a convention. I was talking with someone at a booth, and I was like, they said, "Oh, what about that?" I was like, I tried it, and I just didn't really care for it. I didn't like it much. I don't think it's for me. And to have what was probably a 16-year-old girl whip around and go, "You can't not like Doctor Who," and hit me with her sonic screwdriver, and it hits me like right here, and I look at her, I go, "What in the hell did you just do?" And she goes, "I'm sorry," and I said, yeah, and you should apologize too. It's yeah, that sort of thing. It's just like no, it's no, not
The the Renaissance Fair in Ohio does a time travelers weekend, which is just cosplays anything. And one
yeah.
year, this group of guys showed up, and they were each dressed as a different doctor, and they brought a big like wood TARDIS they made that they were carrying around that they had made, and it was
Mhm.
funny. And they had DeLoreans there. That was a fun weekend.
I can appreciate the devotion to the gag with that, but that's just not
Yeah,
not
but
on my radar.
so that is Young Frankenstein. I would say it held up. I mean, I wasn't expecting not to enjoy it because I've seen it a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, this was gonna hold up.
Yeah. So, is there anything else we want to talk about? I feel like there was some tidbit of wrestling news I wanted to mention. I don't know. It was like a weird.
We went from too much stuff happening at once to things got quiet
No,
a lot.
well, I guess Seth Rollins did actually injure himself on that stupid move he did to the point they had to vacate the title.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they'll push him again and they'll have the belt on him in a couple years, even though Finn Balor got injured by Seth Rollins and they blamed Finn and never trusted him again.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
What a
yeah.
train wreck that angle was. Like I
Well, they're doing Saturday Night Main Event, I think, this weekend, and it's
it's
going to be
Punk and Yeet
LA
Man.
Knight. Yeah, well, LA Knight. It's the three LA Knight who they should have put the title on him like
Yeah,
years ago at this
it's
point.
past
But
the point of
yeah, oh yeah. But LA Knight versus he's still over though, at least with that audience. LA Knight versus CM Punk versus Yeet Man,
but
and it's like
this
They
is
have Lex Lugered LA Knight is the
well
best way I can
well
put it.
the problem with this match is though, so Yeet Man already failed. Like you said, they've Lex Lugered LA Knight. They're gonna have to put it on Punk, and they just spent the whole summer devaluing Punk terribly. And he already
he's
won the
probably the best
title and
choice.
got yeah, and they already did the
Yeah.
cash in thing, so there's no impact to him really winning the title because he just did it. And like I said, you did the whole Cena thing that made him look like a bitch, and then the cash in also devalued him because he immediately lost the belt. Because Drew McIntyre really never recovered from who did that to him last year? Oh oh crap,
Rollins
Punisher
like didn't
Martinez. I don't know his name now.
oh oh
What's
uh
his oh I can't
now you made me draw a blank. Like
yeah
why much
Shad, save us.
What was the question?
It's Punisher
You
Martinez.
Oh my God! Why?
you
That's
started
how like
you started talking about CM Punk and I just zoned
Oh,
out. Like I was
who
just gone.
cashed in on Drew McIntyre?
Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian
Damian
Priest.
Priest.
Oh, okay. It's that annoys me because that match has two people that I have no tolerance for, and then one guy that I feel like they have just treated like crap because, oh, he'll just get back over. It's like, well,
This is the problem with the way they book though, because like there's other companies. New Japan probably couldn't do it right now, but like they don't protect their stars. Like, because even CM Punk, like I said, like, okay, so you're gonna have to put it on Punk because he's the best choice. But like I said, you just spent the last 4 months devaluing him.
look, there is an opportunity for them to do something even worse than put it on any of the three of them, and that's have Breaker and Bronson Reed run in there and make the whole thing a no contest too.
Oh, they can't do that. That would be terrible.
Brad, those just
No, they
because it
might.
would be terrible does not mean that they couldn't do it.
I
You
know.
know?
I know.
This is booked by the guy who booked a WrestleMania feud where the racist won. That's
Yeah, I know.
so it's
But like if AEW was in this position, I feel like they would put like Joe in there. They'd put guys in there that were protected, and I feel like they were disciplined with Punk for a while, and then they just, like I said, kind of buried him all summer, and now they need him to bail them out. Like that's why you don't. This is why this is where they've always struggled though. This is why you don't do stuff like that. Like they do stuff because they're a moments company, but oftentimes when you just book for moments, like I said, like the cash in on Punk, that's long term damage to his credibility. Because like I said, Drew McIntyre hasn't quite ever recovered from that happening to him. So, Punk wins the title. So you've already removed that from like the equation. So he's won the title, people got that, and then you immediately cashed in, which makes him look stupid. So like him winning the title again doesn't have the same punch to it.
no, it's not the first time. Look, if I got a phone call right now and they said, "Hey, who should win this?" I'd say just put it on LA Knight because you should have done it years ago. Yeah, the guy stays over, but you keep blue balling everyone with him, and if you don't do something like that, people are just going to quit caring.
I would have been like make it a 4-way, put Sami Zayn in it and have him win would be my answer.
That's not a
LA
bad
Knight would,
answer.
I
LA
would
Knight would
even
be the most interesting solution of the three, but they'll probably put it on Punk. I mean,
honestly,
honestly,
I'd even be like, look, man, I'd even put it on Sheamus before I'd put it on Yeet Man or any of them really.
Yeah.
the sad thing is Yeet Man might be the most over of the three,
But he's not
but he's terrible.
over. But he's not over after the entrance though, and his reign
No,
already kind of failed.
there was a thing that came out like it was disseminated on social media that he like gave an interview or something where he said like I'm more than just an entrance, and it's like I didn't take that to be like he actually has responded to criticism more than because he actually read what he said. It almost seemed more like a kayfabe thing where it's like, oh, like when the bell rings, I got to bring like I got to bring it. It's like that's not like oh I admit that I suck. Like, but he actually does suck, and you are just an entrance.
Like, how do
Like
you
the
have
stupid.
mediocre
I,
matches with Gunther?
he can do it because he's not very good. Here, this is I don't have this best I can do right here, but this is the WWE audience. It's like, hey guys,
Yeah,
jangling keys.
yeah,
You
those
like it, right?
keys.
Jangling
Look,
keys. Yeah,
the
yeah, it's
thing
like
is,
Mike keys. Anyway, like he's to their audience. Yeet Man is great because it's like he comes out and they can vibe to his entrance. Doesn't matter that he's absolute dog shit, but it actually kind of does because I mean I feel like he's such a different level of bad that even like the audience is kind of like.
Well, and
Yeah,
they just
like
put him back
his
in
because
the
his reign failed. His reign
yeah.
failed, and he had Rikishi like whining on his podcast, being like, "They set my boy up to fail." It's like, no, your boy just sucks.
And
He's
they
not
have
good.
him back with the Usos, so like, why is he even? And you know what the worst part is? Is
Oh,
like,
look. Let's be realistic. They've squeezed so much blood from the stone, but people were over the bloodline shit like 2 years ago. That was already 2 years ago. They were like, "What is this
because like
bullshit?"
Solo Sokoa, no one gives a crap about.
The only time it's in the 2 years, the only time that it's gotten any juice whatsoever is when The Rock like makes his comeback,
Yeah,
like an appearance, and then people just care about The Rock. But otherwise, it's like it's not. In the 2 years ago, go back 2 years from now. So today is October 28th, 2025. Go back 10/28, 2023. I'm gonna do over under. It's like I doubt that Roman has more than like 2 dozen matches in the 2 years.
oh no, he doesn't even
I
have that.
doubt it.
I bet he
I doubt
has.
it.
He might have
And he's the
15.
most over like person in the bloodline. So it's still bloodline associated. So who gives a shit
Well, and then they started
about the
moving him
bloodline?
when they moved him face and like took him away from it. Like no one cared anymore because it was really just him. And I feel like he's. I don't know if it's a booking thing, but it feels like he's really lost his luster the last year.
Because he's unimportant. Why would you care about why would you care about a guy who's there like a handful of times a year?
The thing,
I think they don't make it special because, like, I don't, I don't necessarily know if I blame him entirely. I think it's a booking issue why he's lost his.
lost his luster.
Yeah,
So, like I said, out of the three, I would have used LA Knight, and out of the three, really, he's the one I respect the most because even with having his legs cut out from under him and having shit piled on top of him, the guy has stayed over basically out of just sheer mic work. Like it is there he doesn't have like this whole legacy to fall back on and all this sort of stuff. He's a guy who was called up to be a manager in what like
maximum
2021.
male models or whatever. I
Yeah,
think is what he was.
Mm.
yeah, and I was trying to remember what day that was. And then whenever he got to just kind of be himself, he got over and has
Well,
remained that way in
remember
spite of being treated like crap.
they kind of they kind of built him up a little bit to do that stupid Mountain Dew match with Bray, and he kind of
Yeah.
got over going into that, and he got totally buried in that, and then they that match is awful by the way, but and then he kind of rebuilt from there, and I think I would probably put it on Punk, but we've kind of talked about my philosophy with AEW, and that would apply to this where, okay, you're in a tough spot, you need to rebound, biggest star, put the belt on, which would be Punk. So that's kind of my general philosophy about booking. As much as they've damaged Punk, that's but
I
like I said, you guys have argued with me numerous times, and like my philosophy is a little different when it comes to that stuff. So
I understand where you're coming from. I just think if you're in this spot and nothing's gonna, then this is a time to try something different. Why? Because your business as a whole.
and I don't want to hear all the podcasts and stuff bitching about LA Knight either. That's gonna get old real quick. So
Well, okay. Yeah, oh yeah, L.A. Knight, he just does the same catchphrases and he's not any good in the ring. It's like, since when is that a problem for you?
I think his
Like you're watching this company, that is like a hallmark.
I think his ring work is highly overstated for his detractors because he did fine when he was like the Impact World Champion. Like he actually did better as the Impact World Champion than Cody did as the ROH World Champion
I
at
think
the time.
he's perfectly fine in the ring. That's the thing. I think he's perfectly fine in the ring,
He's better than Yeet
and
Man, way better
and
than
there's
Yeet
there.
Man.
I don't. The only reason that I think, the reason that I think they won't use him is because they're going to say, oh, well, he's over without it. It's like, he ain't going to stay that way, the way you guys treat him. So sooner or later, you'd have to pull a trigger
He's not
on
there.
somebody.
He's not their guy, though. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, that's always the problem there.
I think Vince might have pulled the trigger on him, but I don't think Triple H ever will, because Triple H has no, like... Triple H is, like, completely risk-averse as a booker.
Yeah, I just can't with them anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't.
It's just... I try to keep up on stuff for the sake of the show when we talk about stuff. I'll watch stuff,
Yeah.
but it's been so bad this year. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like it
is.
It's bad even by like my low standards for them. It's bad.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a good question. Nah, they're worse than New Japan. New Japan pisses me off, but they still have good matches from time to time.
New Japan's struggling from what I understand. You guys correct me, you know more than I do, but it seems to me that New Japan is struggling because they did not start building up their new wave of guys when they had an exodus of
their new
top
wave
guys.
of guys also don't have it either.
It's that, but it's also like the new guys they have built up are not they're not there.
They're not doing it. Yeah,
we
did have that conversation a week or two
they all
ago.
Have some flaw
which is bad because it's like they've been around a little while now.
Yeah.
No, some of them have been around like 5 or 7 years and like past young boy status, and like a lot of the problems they have, like the booking is obviously a problem. They should have pulled the trigger on some guys quicker, but a lot of those guys have like flaws that aren't correctable that prevent them from being a star. Like we talked about Yota Tsuji on this and how he has like charisma, he's an okay worker, but he just doesn't have like the it factor. And I think they did turn a lot of people off because they kind of didn't. People were hanging around for the Kota Ibushi payoff, and they really screwed that up, too.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't like them as much because when they added the world title and got rid of the IWGP history, because it just like I know it's a pretend sport. I know it's not real. But you got rid of a title with like 40 years of history for a brand new belt with no history. Like, I don't care anymore.
It also looks like crap.
Yeah, it looks like the NXT belt that Brad Maddox was blowing loads on in the Page 60.
Yeah, the old school like Divas championship.
Yeah. It looks really bad, and if you had just, hey, we're gonna have a new belt for this title lineage, fine, go for it. But I don't understand any case of throwing away a title you've had without at least rolling it into another one so that it kind of continues on.
And a well-established title, like the NFL's not going to be like, hey guys, we're not doing the Super Bowl anymore. We're doing the Mega Bowl. It's going to just be like, okay.
Well, something that happened in the aughts in WWE was that they had all of these belts that were around that they're like, we don't want to mess with these anymore. And so they had unification matches to roll them into the Intercontinental title. Okay, you know what? That is a solution I'm fine with. Because what that does is it just rolls. It takes all of those lineages and they go towards something. But
Triple H fucked it up.
Yeah.
They had to break them all apart. No, I'll use a great example of what New Japan did. It's what I think college football is going to start paying the price for, is they've done these mega conferences. So like all the tradition is dead in college football. Like the rivalry games are done. Like the trophy games are gone. Like they don't matter anymore. Like there's the side rivalries that don't matter anymore.
Why are Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri in the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
And it's like, I don't remember what they used to have the game for, but like, I don't think Michigan and Minnesota don't play every year anymore. And they used to have a game with like a boot or something on the line. Like those games are dead.
So there's a guy YouTube channel named Matt Mitchell who does an SEC roundup video every week. And the thing that he hangs a lampshade on a lot of this stuff, but this week was the one that absolutely got me because it was the Nightmare Edition. And I sent it to you guys earlier. I don't know if you got to see it or not, but it's when it got to the Kentucky one, it's him in like a Kentucky shirt and hat walking down the hallway, and he walks up to the door of nightmares, and he stops. He goes, "So is this a room that's all football nightmares?" And they go, "Yes, that you couldn't." I'm not interested, and he just walked away. And I was like, that is like the most spot on joke he could have made. That was excellent. It's
Like,
just like, why is
why is
Missouri?
why is USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington in the Big Ten now?
Yeah. What Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Missouri are in the SEC when none of them are in the Southeast. That if you wanted to say, well, Kentucky's kind of pushing it, it's like, okay, I could understand you making that argument, but they've always been in the SEC since the inception, so it's like, well, that one's going to keep rolling. But why these others? Because, like you said, we got to have super conferences so we get more viewers. God, I am so sick of everything coming
And
down to the decision of the dollar.
I think Saturday, no, I think it might be for that. College athletes and coaches and personnel are going to be allowed to bet on sports starting in like a week or two. So it's going to be as real as wrestling. And the NBA has another betting scandal.
They do. They do. Because they're going through and doing their betting on places like FanDuel and DraftKings and Prize Picks and stuff where it's easy to track and easy to see. Like, go you.
I, I, Sports betting is like the worst thing we've unleashed on society. I don't know if your states have it yet, but Ohio got it and it's obnoxious. Like there's ads all the time. And it's
Yeah.
okay because they say at the end, "Hey, if you have a gambling addiction, well, fuck you, give you our money." Is kind of how they approach that. But
Yeah.
it's
I'm
terrible.
just sick of everything being sponsored by one of them.
Yeah, and then the other great scam is when your state convinces you that they need a casino because they're going to get all this money. Well, guess what? They don't get any tax money out of it, and you always find that out like a decade later. But I think we're going to call it an episode this week because my voice is about shot because every time we get to 11, my voice starts having issues. But so I don't know what we're doing next week. We'll probably talk it over. Some things are going on. So we will see how it goes. We're going to get back to USWA at some point. And what was the other movie we were talking about we should do on this episode?
Blue?
Yeah, Clue. Yeah, I might have to do Clue before the end of the year.
That would make me very happy.
Yeah. But thank you everyone for watching as always. This is Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in 3 corners and you've been in the 4th, and we will catch you